the Hurricane Mike show, where you can hear my dad and I talk about takes of this football team. We do everything, football and basketball. That's mostly it. But don't get me started, man. We Saints all day, but we be talking about other teams. Like during the season, we do predictions, we do recaps of every single game. You know, we do post game to the Saints. So if you're rocking with these, come join. But even if you don't rock with these, come join, man. Because my dad and I, we are some funny guys. So I'ma leave you all, and now I'm gonna take you to Mikey and my dad, aka Pops. Enjoy the show. We are live for episode 101 of the Hurricane Mike Show. And Dad, the draft is coming up, all right?
True.
But guess what? There will be one NFL team this year that will have a terrible draft. Who is that?
Because, well, who is that? Something rhymes with turd. Oh, bird. All right.
Yeah, you know why they're going to have a terrible draft?
Because the Atlanta Falcons suck. Big time, baby.
Man, they down bad, dude. Like for the last 3 years. So ever since the 2021 draft per se, don't get me wrong, they don't usually ever have good drafts other than getting Julio and Matt Ryan, and you saw how that worked out, right? But they drafted Kyle Pitts in 2021, I want to say. People thought he was going to be the Calvin Johnson of tight ends. Do you remember that?
I remember. He was going to be great. He was going to be Hall of Fame right off the bat.
Bruh, they traded Julio Jones so they could draft Kyle Pitts. And guess what? Kyle Pitts be playing for the other team half the time. Every year. Every single year, it's watch out for Kyle Pitts. Watch out for Kyle Pitts.
Watch out,
what am I supposed to be watching out for? When he crosses by the road, I got to make sure I don't step over him. What am I supposed to be watching out for?
He doesn't catch the ball. I mean, they don't throw it to him. I mean,
and when they do, he gives the ball away like it's a Christmas present.
I don't have his stats in front of me, but I bet you, he's not first round draft pick worthy. Now
he was in the top 5. Dad, he was in the top 5 of the draft. He is the highest drafted tight end ever. You know how bad that is?
It's pretty bad, man.
And then the year after that,
might have to start using that B word with him.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. And then the year after that, they drafted Drake London. Drake London, he's straight, but do you think he's better than Garrett Wilson? Do you think he's better than Chris Olave? Do you think Drake London, by chance, is better than Jameson Williams, Dad?
He's probably competing with those guys. He's not head and shoulders better than any one of those guys, but I mean, it's still early.
Yeah, but then the year after that, they drafted Bijan in the top 10, which it's whatever. But then the year after that, they drafted a quarterback after signing their quarterback. It's crazy.
It's the Atlanta Falcons, bro. I think they were born that way. I don't know.
Shoot, they might be. But now let's go over some Saints topics now. Starting with this. Hold on. Let me fix this real quick. Hold on. Let me see. Hold on.
Ooh.
All right.
I was trying to see if I could fix that, but let me see some real quick. I don't think I can. All right. Wait, hold on. No, it's right here. Yeah, here we go. All right, so it can be like more visible. All right, so Dad, so if y'all haven't heard by now, Aaron Rodgers will not be a member of the New York Jets next year. Knowing that information, do you think if you were a part of the New York Jets organization, do you think there's a possibility where they trade for Derek Carr, and if so, do you think the Saints are ready to move on?
Well, I can see the Jets exploring a trade like that because keep in mind that they were trying to sign him if they couldn't get Aaron Rodgers, so they were interested 2 years ago. But yeah, so I could see them trying to make a play here. But as far as the Saints go, I don't think the Saints are ready to move on as of yet. Keep in mind, got Kellen Moore coming in here, and I don't think he wants to start off his tenure as a head coach of New Orleans Saints with an unproven rookie quarterback that he did not draft. So keep that in mind. So I don't think they really move on, or they're ready to move on from Carr this year.
I 100% agree with you on both of the topics. Like I think the Jets, they're kind of in that situation where it's like they have nothing to lose at this point. So I think the Jets. I think if there's a trade on the table, I think they do pull the trigger to trade for Derek Carr. Obviously, they're not going to give up like a first round pick or a Garrett Wilson to get Derek Carr, but I feel like maybe like a fourth or a fifth. I think that can move the needle. But however, I don't think the Saints are ready to move on. I think Kellen Moore wants to see what he has in Derek Carr before making that decision. I think Kellen Moore, he wants to basically explore his options, and he wants to see, okay, what do I have in Derek Carr? He wants to see that. What do I have in Derek Carr? And if Derek Carr does not work out, then next year, when it's cheaper to move off of him, they could be like, okay, let's explore all of our options. Let's see if we can sign somebody or trade away his contract because now it's going to be cheaper. So I don't think the Saints are ready to move on just yet. You know, because one, you want to wait till the contract is 1,000% cheaper. Two, what do you have in Derek Carr? Okay. And I understand Derek Carr's been in the league for years. But Kellen Moore, is Derek Carr a Kellen Moore guy? That's the thing that the Saints are basically going to have to – they're basically going to play the long game with Derek Carr, in my opinion. So, however, that brings me to another point, and they're kind of the same thing. But the Saints will be deciding Derek Carr's future soon. So, I mean, that we basically just went over that. But let's talk about the Saints hiring Kellen Moore, a guy we were just talking about. Dad, what's your take on the hire?
I really hope this is history repeating itself. Last time the Saints brought in a young, hotshot offensive coordinator to be their head coach that calls his own plays and effectively will be the offensive coordinator as well. I mean, I know they're going to bring somebody in, but Kellen Moore calls his own plays. He, very heavily in the offensive game plan. So, yeah, I like this move. I think it's good. Yeah, excited about it.
Yeah, Jerry says, good afternoon, fellas. Good afternoon, Jerry. And he also says, Kellen Moore on a mission. Look, Kellen Moore was my number one candidate, even when all the other guys were on the table. A lot of people are like, be honest with yourself. You didn't think Kellen Moore is that guy. Right, okay, I'm going to be 100% honest with you. Kellen Moore was my number one guy. You can look back through my YouTube channel's history, like ever since, not ever since we fired Dennis Allen, because I didn't know who was going to be available, but when all of the candidates were laid out on who the Saints were trying to go after, I said, go after Kellen Moore first. I said that, okay? It's on my channels, even on other people's channels. I was saying, Kellen Moore, like, yeah, facts. He was the top choice to be the next head coach. You see, yeah, like a lot of people are like, be honest with yourself. You didn't think Kellen Moore was gonna be this guy. I'm being 1,000%. I'm being a buck. Let me keep it a buck. I think this is why I like Kellen Moore so much. There's 3 guys I wanted in a coach. 3 guys. Kellen Moore checks every single box. He's the youngest coach in the NFL. In fact, let me pull up the top 5 youngest coaches in the NFL, and let's see how they're doing. And it's actually good that they don't have Kellen Moore on this list yet, because he technically is the youngest coach. Mike Macdonald, 37 years old, Seattle Seahawks. Didn't they just win 10 games? I mean, pretty nice. Ben Johnson, we still don't know anything about him yet. Well, we do know stuff about him, but I'm just going to skip by his name. Sean McVay, Rams, 38 years old, Super Bowl champion Sean McVay. Kevin O'Connell, Vikings, 39 years old, Coach of the Year Kevin O'Connell to you. Shane Steichen, Colts, 39 years old, a 9-win team with Gardner Minshew to you. So I'm just saying, man, like Kellen Moore, if history repeats itself, not only with the Sean Payton thing, but with him being the youngest coach in the NFL, I'm excited. He's got me excited. This is the first time I've been excited about a Saints coach since like the 2020 Sean Payton. That was the last time I was actually this excited. Like, and then what you say?
That's a long time. That's 5 years ago.
I know. But then the second box that he checks off, he's offensive minded. That's something that we needed to get away from. We needed to get away from the Dennis Allen type, the defensive minds. That's why I chose him over guys like Aaron Glenn, over guys like Anthony Weaver, because we needed an offensive guru. But it's not just about that, because a lot of people were like, well, if a coach is good, he's good. And I understand that. Yes, you may get your D'Amico Ryans. Yes, you may get those. But Kellen Moore, he has a different swag to him. It's not just about being the X's and O's guy. When we say offensive mind, it's not just about being the X's and O's guy. When I say offensive mind, it's somebody that can read a whole offense. All right? So that's the second box. And third, the third box he ticks off, playoff success. Some people were acting like this man is not a Super Bowl champion. This dude literally just won a Super Bowl, dude. So Kellen Moore, I don't know what they were saying about you, but look, and I may eat my words when I say this, but Kellen Moore's my coach. He didn't have to win me over. He already won me over. Even like when the playoffs are going on, I was watching the Eagles and I was like, that's my coach. I don't know about you. I'm going to give y'all time, but I'm already on the bandwagon. So, yeah. All right. But, yeah. But now we're going to be talking about Kellen Moore a lot today, because we didn't really talk about it on the Hurricane Mike Show just yet. So, Dad, I'm going to ask you a question. What is the realistic timeline for a Saints turnaround with Kellen Moore?
Well, I think this year, coming up, 2025, we all know this division trash. We know.
Pretty much.
So I think this team right now can compete in this division to win the whole thing. I mean, we can win this division with 10 wins. I think we can get to 10 wins. That's my answer to your question.
Yeah. I think so. Like when we hired Sean Payton, it took him 6, 7, 8, 9. It took him 4 seasons to win a Super Bowl. 4 seasons. Now, I don't know if it's going to be that short of a time frame, but I think if Kellen Moore can rebuild this team, I think it's going to take us from 1 season to 9 seasons. And along that path, I think the Saints can be Super Bowl champs. At least 1 to 9 seasons. And now, another question. Can Kellen Moore's offense succeed in New Orleans, Dad?
Absolutely. It's succeeded everywhere he's been, from Dallas to Los Angeles to Philadelphia. I mean, that's crisscrossing the country right there. And he's been successful everywhere. He's won a Super Bowl. Was the quarterback that had Dak Prescott in MVP discussions, winning 12, 13 games a year, getting into the playoff. I mean, they're Dallas, so they don't win playoff games. But
Yeah.
yes, he's been successful everywhere else. I think he can be successful here.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, absolutely. This team can literally. I feel like the Saints, if everybody stays healthy, if the Saints draft well, if they have a good offseason, I think the Saints can have a top 10 offense with Kellen Moore calling his shots. But now, should the Saints pursue Jets Aaron Rodgers if in case if they want to move off of their car? Do you think the Saints should go after Aaron Rodgers?
No, because I don't think football is very important to Aaron Rodgers anymore. I think he wants to be among the tree people, hugging the trees and, smoking his little things and drinking his little things in the off season. I want a quarterback that's all about football. I don't want them coming in like Shedeur Sanders and want to have a rap album and all. No. I want straight up football all the time.
I agree. I don't want Aaron Rodgers in New Orleans because of all the damage it could cause. Because, with the Jets this season, he had a 63 completion percentage, 3,897 yards, 28 TDs, 11 picks. 4 of the touchdowns came in the last week of the season against the Dolphins. The week before that, he threw 2 interceptions against Buffalo. This man was literally, Aaron Rodgers to me now is kind of like how Andy Dalton was his last couple years in Cincinnati. Where it's he's literally, you're not getting any good production out of him, but he's going to have some good games. That's basically what he is. He's going to have, he didn't have a 4-touchdown game till the last game of the season. So people may be like, oh, then he's on the, no. Bro, this man's 40, right? Dude, there is no more good play out of Rodgers. Derek Carr, I will give him credit. I'm not the biggest Derek Carr fan no more, but I will give him credit. He's more of a guy, I don't think he's going to create his own problems, kind of. I don't think he's going to be the main focus of problems. Aaron Rodgers, this man literally says controversial stuff just so people can be talking about him. Wasn't he the guy that was talking about aliens or whatever? Dude, this man doesn't care about football. So no, I don't want Aaron Rodgers. All right, I made this earlier, but the Saints have hired their new offensive coordinator and former Eagles quarterback coach Doug Nussmeier to replace the Clint Kubiak that went to the Seattle Seahawks to be their OC. So here's some stuff about him, and I'm going to let you take it away. He was the quarterback for the Saints for 5 to 6 years. He played professionally from 1994 to 1997. He served as the quarterback's coach under Kellen Moore at Dallas, at the Los Angeles Chargers, and at Philadelphia. And his son Garrett Nussmeier's the QB at LSU, but we don't gotta talk about that. So and then Albert Breer. Before I get to that, what's your take on the Doug Nussmeier hiring?
I like it. I think Doug Nussmeier can be the Pete Carmichael to Sean Payton. I mean, to Kellen Moore, like Pete Carmichael was to Sean Payton. You know, the right-hand man, a brilliant offensive mind, but he doesn't call the plays. He's not the top guy as far as offense goes, but he assists Kellen Moore with creating this offense. So I like him. I liked him when he came out. I remember when he got drafted. He was a left-handed quarterback. Looked kind of funny playing, but anyway. So yeah, I like the hire of Nussmeier to be the offensive coordinator.
Yeah. Like, I'm not mad at the hire, but I personally would have hired the Eagles running backs coach. I think, what was his name? Let me pull it up. I would have personally hired a dude that made Saquon do what he did. Because I feel like Kamara and Saquon kind of have like the same skill set, in my opinion. Let me see. What's his name? Jamal Singleton. I would have hired him, and if he wasn't available, then I would have went with Nussmeier. But it's like, I'm not mad at the hire. I think the Saints should have went with Jamal Singleton because I feel like, if he was going to be our OC, because like Kellen Moore's gonna be calling the plays, so it doesn't really matter. But like, I feel like Jamal Singleton could give Kamara the talk he was giving Saquon and the whole offensive staff, and I feel like the Saints offense could be rolling. But don't get me wrong, I think the offense will get rolling no matter what. But
let me just say, you said, try to do here what he did with Saquon. Who did something with Saquon? Saquon. You can't coach this dude. I mean, I was watching a Philadelphia Eagles game this year, and I was just looking at it. And then I seen Saquon Barkley do something I ain't never seen no man do in his life. He turned around and did a reverse leapfrog over a dude. And I was like, damn, you can't coach that, boy. So, the running backs coach, did he get the best out of Saquon, or did Saquon is just that dude and he's just elite?
I mean, he was that. Don't get me wrong. He was good in New York, but like nobody thought Saquon was going to have the year he did. Like, we thought he may have had a good year, maybe even a great year, but no one thought he was going to have the year that he did. Jerry said, but on arrogant Rodgers, no. Yeah, I agree. I don't want arrogant Rodgers either. Like, maybe if for some reason Drew Brees couldn't play no more, and maybe if this was like 2019, then maybe, or 2020, then maybe, but no, not 2025 Rodgers. No, we don't. No, I'm good on that. However, Albert Breer did say this about Doug Nussmeier. My guess would be Moore takes his right-hand man, Doug Nussmeier, with him to New Orleans, perhaps as offensive coordinator. Nuss to New Orleans, unofficially, well, now it's official. Like I said, I made all of this before the freaking hire. Because, every single time we're about to do a show, the Saints have to make their decision right before we go live. I don't understand it, but yeah. But, Kellen Moore will call plays for the Saints offense. The OC will be a support role. Yeah. And then I had a lot of stuff about like Kevin Patalo, but we don't gotta go over that now because it's irrelevant. All right. Let me see this. Okay. Now, but now let's go over some other stuff. Now let's talk about the defensive coordinator position. Because obviously Joe Woods went to the Raiders to be their defensive backs coach, I think. Like, I wasn't I think Joe Woods did well when Dennis Allen got fired for a brief moment, but then that Packers game happened, and then the defense just fell completely off the map. And I don't know what happened there. Like I don't know what was going on. But Brandon Staley, do you remember that name?
I do.
Yeah, former coach of the Los Angeles Chargers. Wait, oh shoot! So that means Kellen Moore and Brandon Staley might be back together because Kellen Moore was with. Ironically, Brandon Staley was the head coach when Kellen Moore was working over there. But now, if Staley comes over here, then what's his name? Then Kellen Moore would be the head coach, and Staley would work under him. But yeah, Brandon Staley, the assistant head coach for the San Francisco 49ers. He is a guy that the Saints are trying to go after. So that how would you feel about getting that boy Brandon Staley?
I think Mickey Loomis needs to gas up the truck. Needs to put Miss Benson in the passenger seat. And they need to take a long drive to San Francisco with a big old bag of cash and say,
Okay.
Brandon Staley, come run our defense. Look, it didn't work out for you as a head coach. Some people ain't made to be head coaches, Dennis Allen. But they're good defensive minds. And, you come over here, run our defense. We're not going to make you assistant head coach because we don't want to put that pressure on you. We want you to focus on this defense. And, yeah, so I like that.
Yeah. Brandon Staley, I mean, I think he's like the only guy that we're really considering for DC. I think I don't know. But there is an honorable mention, I guess, where Vic Fangio has ties to the Saints. So, like Vic Fangio, if the Saints interview him. So then I have a question. Who would you take right now, Brandon Staley or Vic Fangio?
And look, I would take Brandon Staley. And look, he's got a good relationship with Kellen Moore. They work together. Nussmeier worked together with Kellen Moore. I mean, it's just like getting the band back together. That's what you do when you hire a head coach. He gets all the people he's familiar with because they work together. They don't have to, figure out how they're going to work, take all year just trying to work together. They've already done it. So, yes, get the people you worked with and, pick up from where y'all left off.
Dad, I'm about to put some people on with this great analogy. Have you ever saw Avengers Endgame?
I think so.
Well, you know how in like where they bring everybody back to life? Captain America, he's fighting Thanos. His shield gets absolutely busted. But then the portal opens and then everybody comes out the portal to help Captain America.
It was such an emotional scene. Yes, I remember that.
That's what I think about when I think about the Saints. Kellen Moore is the guy that has the broken shield because he's coming. The shield is the Saints. The Saints have nothing going on for them. But then he gets Brandon Staley out the portal. He gets Doug Nussmeier out the portal. And then they just start fighting everybody. That's what I think about with the Saints, dude. So, yes, I'm all over Brandon Staley. Pause. But, yes, I want Brandon Staley to be the Saints defensive coordinator for at least the 2025 season, and we'll see where that goes. But, yeah, Adam Schefter said this. Former Chargers head coach Brandon Staley, who spent last season as an assistant coach in San Francisco, is a leading candidate to become Kellen Moore's offensive coordinator in New Orleans, per sources. Brandon Staley is part of the Fangio tree. So, yeah, I think he's the guy. But however, Dad, there is a sleeper that the Saints could hire to be their quarterbacks coach. Dad, who was our quarterbacks coach last year?
I forget his name. I know he played quarterback before in college. I can't remember his name.
Oh, I'm about to pull up this man.
Curry?
Uh,
Curry?
He left. It was Scott Tolzien.
Okay, well, I was thinking of Curry still.
Wait, hold up. Oh, they literally just hired Scott Tolzien 6 hours ago. So, who was our QB coach in 2024? I said 2024. Let me see. Hold on. Because, no, that's actually true. Bruh, I said 2024. Why is Kellen Moore on my screen? He was not on this team in 2024. Okay, finally. Something that actually looks legit. Because I see Joe Wood's name. So, hopefully that means this is actually legit. Who was our QB's coach? Hold on, let me see. Okay. All right, let's see. The quarterback's coach, it was Andrew Janico. All right. So, where did he go? Yeah, hold on, guys. Give me one moment. But yeah. So apparently the Saints hired their new QB's coach. So he, that's right. So he also got hired by the Seattle Seahawks to be their quarterback's coach, I think. So, yeah. He and Clint Kubiak are together. But yeah, apparently the Saints hired their new quarterback's coach, and that's Scott Tolzien, who also worked with the Eagles. So guess what? Now we got Scott out of the portal. So yeah, that should be interesting. I don't know much about Scott, but I'm assuming he wasn't the Eagles quarterback's coach because that was Doug Nussmeier. Well, let's see, what was he doing? So, okay, well, hold on. Let me see. All right. Well, I don't know. All I know is they used to play quarterback, just like half the coaches in the NFL. But yeah, Scott Tolzien is your new quarterbacks coach for the New Orleans Saints. So we're gonna have to see how he does. It's weird. I literally did lots of stuff talking about how Dan Orlovsky could come here, but yeah, we don't gotta worry about that.
I like
So,
Dan Orlovsky.
What?
I like Dan Orlovsky.
Yeah. But however, Dad, so you know Darren Rizzi's no longer on this team, right?
It's off to Denver.
Yep. Darren Rizzi is on the Broncos. So because of that, let me see if they updated that. 'Cause I think the Saints hired their special teams coordinator.
From Philly. No. I don't know. You tell me.
Hold up. Holy. Let me see. Hold on. Let me see. Phil. Is it Phil? Hold up, y'all. Phil. Yeah. Yeah, Phil Galliano, I believe, was promoted to the Saints special teams coordinator. And he was the assistant special teams coordinator, so I think he's either getting interviewed or he got hired. But the Saints have been great on special teams. So that's really all for the coordinator targets. But Dad, I have a question, and I think I know your answer, but it's because you're already talking about Super Bowls and division champions and stuff.
I didn't
But
say Super Bowls. I said division champions this year.
okay, well, could the Saints be the worst team in the NFL?
No. As long as you have the New York Football Giants, and Atlanta Falcons, and Carolina Panthers, and I mean, you could just list about right now about 10 teams worse than the Saints are right now. So no,
Well,
I don't think
the
they'll be
thing is,
the worst in the NFL.
well, I think there is a world where the Saints could potentially be the worst team in the NFL. I'm not saying that they will, and I don't think they will. But there is a world where Kellen Moore, doesn't get this team looking in the right direction in 1 year, and the Saints may win like 2 or 3 games. But I don't think it's going to happen. But I do think that can happen. But yeah, but like I said, I don't think Kellen Moore is going to turn this team around in 1 year. We're going to have to learn patience, but we'll see about that. But now, Dad, I have a question. Are the New Orleans Saints moving on from fan favorite Taysom Hill?
I can tell you, Kellen Moore probably wants Taysom Hill to get healthy. I mean, he wants to have somebody that can go in there and do that tush push, boy. Who would be a better tush pusher than Taysom Hill carrying the ball? I mean, you get Alvin Kamara or one of these running backs behind him, pushing him for a yard. He might break a long touchdown that way. You never know. But Taysom Hill is 36 years old, though, coming off a pretty bad injury. So we'll see how that goes this year.
Because Molly's kid finished it.
Yeah.
Who finishes something? Clean up.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I don't think the Saints are moving on from Taysom Hill just quite yet. I understand he's getting older, but
Not me. I'm not buying that.
But on that, can you give me one moment while you explain why the Falcons suck real quick?
Okay. The Falcons suck because they was born that way. I mean, they can't do nothing right. I mean, they sign a quarterback, they give him a bag, and what they do, they go ahead and draft another quarterback that same offseason. I mean, if that don't tell you they dysfunctional, I don't know what will. They're just, I don't know. I think they're going to be third in this division this year. I think the Panthers are going to be dead last. So, yeah, and not by much. I think, the Panthers are going to win 3 or 4 games. The Falcons might win 5 at the most. I mean, they got a little promising young quarterback. We'll see how he does. I didn't really like him in college, but, they seem to like him. And he seems to throw the screen pass good. So, that's a good thing. He could throw the screen pass good.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'm back now. But back on the Taysom Hill thing, I don't think the Saints will get rid of Taysom Hill because, he feels like a Kellen Moore type of quarterback, kind of. Well, more of a Kellen Moore type of player. And, I feel like he's going to be involved in the offense a whole lot. But now let's talk about some guys the Saints could be drafting this upcoming draft. So there's been lots of draft buzz. I've seen multiple mock drafts where the Saints draft Ashton Genty in round 1. And, Ross Jackson on Ashton Genty said the first round running back is back. This is all about getting a generational playmaker that can come in and be the number 1 option in Kellen Moore's offense and eventually take over for Alvin Kamara in that way. He'd be a good partner with Alvin Kamara. So, what's your take on Ashton Genty? Would you take him at number 9?
Before Kellen Moore got hired, I was saying no. But now, installing this new offense, and I saw how effective he was with a elite running back last year, and I know he's looking for another one. I mean, he's got Kamara, but Kamara's getting up there in age. So yeah, I think I could see them taking Alvin Gentry. What's his name?
Ashton Genty.
Ashton Gentry. Yeah, I can see them taking him with number 9. Yes, I can.
Yeah, I mean, this running back class is deep, man. So, the Saints could get like an all-pro running back in the future in like the 3rd round if they really wanted to. So, but that's like with every draft, kind of. But the running back class is deep, but I think so is the defensive line class. If the Saints can win the Saints, I feel like can win this draft in middle rounds. But on the question about would I draft Ashton Genty at 9 overall, I consider it, but I don't think I would. Basically, because it's like the 1st round guy, you want to make an impact for the long run. And I understand Kamara's not going to be there forever. He may only have maybe 1 or 2 productive seasons left. But I wouldn't take him at 9 overall. But ESPN dropped a mock draft. At number 1, they have the Titans going Travis Hunter. Number 2, Browns go with Abdul Carter. Number 3, Giants Cam Ward. Number 4, Patriots Will Campbell. Number 5, Jaguars Mason Graham. Number 6, Raiders Shedeur Sanders. Number 7, Jets Michael Williams. Number 8, Panthers Jalon Walker. And with the 9th pick, they have the Saints selecting, bear with me, Tetairoa McMillan, wide receiver from Arizona. And ESPN said this: as the Saints navigate a tricky rebuild, wide receivers fall among the areas they must address sooner rather than later. Chris Olave missed time because of concussions this season. Rashid Shaheed coming off a knee injury, and Marcos Valdes-Scantling is a free agent. McMillan is a huge wideout, as he is 6'5", 210 pounds, who runs clean routes and has an incredible catch radius to snag balls thrown outside his frame. He was 3rd in receiving this season, 1,319 yards, and could be an asset in the red zone. And he is definitely a draft target for the Saints because the Saints wide receiver group lacks depth. He has a big frame. He has smooth movement. He's stellar after the catch and has NFL measurables. He's a versatile player that would fit exactly what New Orleans needs in a wide receiver. And in a 3-round mock draft, NFL Network dropped it, and what they said that this is a 3-round mock draft that Kellen Moore would love. With the 9th pick, we go with Tyler Warren, tight end from Penn State. And then with the 49th pick in the 2nd round, we go with Shamar Stewart, edge from Texas A&M. And then with the 71st pick in the 3rd round, we go with Trey Harris, wide receiver from Ole Miss. And NFL Network had this to say on Tyler Warren: with Juwan Johnson entering free agency and Foster Moreau in a contract year, the team could use a big man like Warren in the middle of the field to complement a healthy Chris Olave in 2025. Now let's talk about a draft target in Shamar Stewart, edge out of Texas A&M. 6'6", 290, very explosive, lack of production, but scouts think his traits are nice. In 2024, he had 31 tackles, 6 TFLs, 1.5 sacks, and 2 passes defended. And then last but not least, Trey Harris, 6'3", 210. Actually, he's from Lafayette, LA. So he was here. He's a prototypical big body pass catcher, strong possession receiver, and has good yak ability. He's a versatile wide receiver, willing and solid run blocker. And this past season, he had 60 receptions for 1,030 yards, 7 touchdowns, a 17.2 average. So that knowing all of that information out of the 4 guys I named, who would you take at number 9 overall? Interesting.
I guess I'll go with that receiver from Arizona State. That is a big need for us, I think. You don't know how Olave's coming back from those concussions, and Shaheed does have that knee injury that he's coming back from, missed all season pretty much. So, I don't know how far along Bub Means is and the other, inexperienced receivers.
Yeah. Well, I would actually take the guy that, like, they had Trey Harris in the 3rd round, but I would be surprised if he made it to the 3rd round. I'm not going to lie. I would actually consider taking the Trey Harris, the guy that they have us taking in the 3rd round. I would actually take him at number 9 overall if, we can, because I was watching lots of Ole Miss games because, they were actually on the map. There was lots of passes by Jackson Dart because I'm not that high on Jackson Dart. There was lots of underthrown passes by Jackson Dart that Trey Harris went and got. Like, he was snagging those passes, and a lot of those passes would have been touchdowns if Jackson Dart didn't underthrow them. So, like, Trey Harris, I feel like, would be probably in the number 9 pick for me. That's just me. But, Dad, you got anything else?
Nope, we're good.
All right, where can we find you?
Find me on Warren Newby's YouTube channel, on Hurricane Mike Show every week. That's it.
Yeah, you can also find me here at Hurricane Mike and over at Kyle Phelps, where we will be going live tonight. Dad, we'll leave them always. Even though the season's over, it's still who dat. And even though they can't lose no more for now, don't be a what?
Don't be a Falcon fan because they suck in the offseason too.
They can't even make the play. Man, they'd be losing after the season too.